Hi, welcome to session 16. In this session, we're going to talk about advanced strumming, going beyond the normal rhythms that you normally play. We're going to talk about 16th notes, a new concept for us, strumming 16th notes, as well as we're going to learn some cool rhythm techniques that you can incorporate into your own playing. In the guitar tips section, we're going to talk about acoustic guitars, different types of acoustic guitars, steel string, nylon string, 12 string. We're going to talk about some different equipment for acoustic playing if you use a lot of interested in using some effects with your acoustic, pickups, processors, and how to manage feedback, one of the worst things that an acoustic guitar player always finds himself in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now let's talk about 16th notes. Let's review our rhythms. We haven't talked about rhythms in, wow, a whole bunch of sessions. But let's talk about them for a second, because we have one more level we still need to get down into rhythms. Whole notes get 4 beats. Half notes get 2 beats. Quarter notes get 1 beat. And then we split the atom there, and we got into 8th notes. 2 8th notes equal 1 quarter note. 2 8th notes for every beat. And now we're going to go down one more level to 16th notes. So it takes 4 16th notes to make up 1 beat. I'm basically splitting an 8th note now. So now I have 4 16th notes make up 1 beat. So in a measure of 4 time, there would actually be 16 16th notes would make up a measure in 4 time. That's how you get the name. Wholes, halves, quarters, eighths, and now 16ths. There are divisions, subdivisions lower than that, 32nd, 64th notes. But you as a guitar player probably are never going to see anything like that. I can probably count on my hand the times I've ever even seen a 32nd note. But you will be dealing with 16th notes quite a bit. Okay, so let's learn about those. First, let's talk about them in single notes before we get to chords. Okay, so let's take a look at them. In your right hand, you want to make sure you're doing down, up, down, up. You're alternating your picking. So just on a C, let's look at that first example there. We have 4 quarter notes, and then another measure of that, and then we go into 8th notes, and then 16th notes. Ready? Go. 2, 3, 8th notes now, down. Here come those 16th notes. Good. Now let's try it with a metronome. 2, ready, go. Quarter notes first. 8th notes. 16ths. Good. Let's do exercise number 3 and vary the notes up a little bit. 1, 2, ready, go. That's a little too fast. Let's slow that down. Go. Do it again. Go. In 16th note strumming, there's 2 different ways that we can go about it. And there's 2 different camps of people that learn this. So let's see which camp you're going to be in. Let me play this rhythm, and you try and play it back to me. Okay? I'll do it just on a G chord. Ready? Go. Good. Now, a small percentage of people can actually listen to the rhythm and just go, okay, I get it, and they just suddenly start playing it. How they do that, I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries of life. But it is a fact that some people hear it and they can just understand it and process it. They don't even can tell you how they're learning it that way, but it's just one of those things. Now, for the rest of us mere mortals that have to learn exactly what we're trying to do with these strumming, I'm going to take you through for about the next 5 minutes how to get up to a complex rhythm like that. we're going to start way back in the basics. On a G chord, we're going to start doing eighth notes. Okay, so this is 16th note strumming exercise. This is the first part of it. Let's just do number 1. We're going somewhere with all this, so let's just hang with me on this. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up again, down, up, down. Slow it down a little bit. Now let's take a look at number 2. Now I threw in some 16th notes. The key is keeping your wrist loose. It's almost like you're flicking something off of your hand. Remember we described that earlier when we were doing rhythms? It's like you're flicking something off of your hand. Number 2. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 8th, 16th. Good. Number 3, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Got it? Okay, now let's put all 16th notes in a row. So it's just going to be 16 16th notes. Ready? Go. See how that works? Now I want you to try and accent or give a little extra emphasis the first 16th in every one of those 4 pairs. Okay? For 4 sets of 4. In the first 16th notes in each of those, I want you to try an accent. Okay? So it'll be something like this. How we notate that musically is you'll see that little sideways V sign over that first 16th note. That's telling you to accent it. Now don't just play it louder, make the other ones softer. There's only so loud that you can play. Okay, so make the other one softer and really bring out that first one. Let's do it again. Ready? Go. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Keep that wrist loose. Hold that pick nice and steady. Okay, it works out best to have a little bit of a flexibility in your pick, not too thick of a pick when you're doing these. Okay, look at strumming exercise number 2 there. Now I'm going to put those accents in different places. Okay, let's do that together. Ready? Go. Accent. So I'm doing it every other one there. Okay? Now look at exercise number 3. Now I have it on the first 16th note and the 4th 16th note, so I have my first upstroke accent. And it changes the pattern a little bit, and you have to get used to it. I'll do it real slow. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, up. See how that works? Now, for the next couple of minutes, it's going to sound really stupid to anybody who's listening to this that's not playing guitar. Because when you're actually working with a guitar, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if somebody's just walking through the room, they're going to think you're nuts as we start talking about downs and ups. So just bear with us. Let's go to the next exercise with that. Okay? Now I've got it on the first, the 4th one, and then also on, what is that, the 7th one as well? So it would be something like this. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Let's just keep doing it. Really make the most of the accents. Good. Okay, now let's play exercise number 5. For this one, I'm going to turn on my handy-dandy metronome, and he's clicking off 16th notes. So it may sound like it's going real fast, but it's actually, he's going to be clicking off 16th notes, so we're actually a good bit slower than we were for the previous example. Because there's some tricky accents in this. Let's go through it. 1, 2, ready, down, up, ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, So nice and fast would be something like this. Okay, see how that works? Now, I'm going to take out the ones that we were not accenting. So all I'm left with is the accented ones. Okay, now here's a big concept. I want you to keep your hand going even though you're not actually playing those non-accented notes. So you're going to end up, only thing you're being playing now is the down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. Well, you may think to yourself, well, I get it. I can just go down, down, and just play it at the right rhythm. Nope, it won't work out right. You got to get your hand still doing 16th notes. Down, up, 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 for it to work. Okay? Let's try that rhythm. This would be rhythm number 6. All I did was take out the unaccented notes. Looks a little different written on paper, but it's the same rhythm. Okay? You ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. See what I did there? Let's try it one more time, a little bit slower. 2, ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Keep that hand going. Now, in the last rhythm there, it just adds a couple little 16th notes at the end. Now, I don't want you to worry too much about the rhythm. Let's not look at the music for a second. I want you to do the same rhythm. Okay? Ready? Go. Up, up, down. The last rhythm adds those two 16th notes at the end. So it'd be something like this. Ready? Go now. Up, down, up, down. Let's see if we can start it together. 2, start, go. Up, up, down. Okay, that's a little bit about 16th note strums. Now it's easy for me to explain. It does take a good while, if you don't feel it naturally, to go through them. So my advice is go slow. Don't get too lost in the downs and the ups. Okay, I know that's what you're concentrating on now. Once you kind of got the rhythm, get away from that. And just remember, keep your hand going. Keep that wrist nice and loose. Good strumming technique involves a couple of things. Keeping our wrist loose, gripping our pick nice and strong, and having a pick that's got a little bit of flexibility in it. Okay, you don't want to use a pick that's too thick. Okay, look at your next exercise there, and let's see if we can use our new strumming pattern, 16th note strumming pattern, going through these different chords. Okay, a G, E minor, a C, and a D. Starts on a G. Ready? Go. E minor. Good. Now, there are some other techniques that I use when I'm playing acoustic stuff as well. One of them, I don't know what to call it, it's just kind of you're muting all of your strings while strumming. And it just kind of gets a real kind of a chunk sound, okay? So if I'm on a G, it'd be something like this. Let me just demonstrate it first. See what I'm doing there? If I go through it real slowly, my hand is coming down, and I'm muting it with my left hand, completely covering the strings, so I'm hitting the strings and palm muting at the same time. So as soon as I hit the strings, I'm muting them. I don't even have to have anything going on with my left hand. I can still do it. I'm coming through and I'm muting it with my palm immediately. Sometimes it's really helpful to get a good rhythm exercise going like that, using the chunking, I don't know what to call it, using that chunk in there gives your rhythm playing a little bit more excitement. Okay? You also can do muting even when you're doing chords. So let's say I'm doing my power chord again. So if I'm on F, I can go something like, accenting the first of each. Let's say I don't want to really be strumming full out. I can still use that muting technique. Here's another key. If I want to strum, but I don't want to be very loud, I want to be kind of quiet about my strumming. Notice my pick is not down like that. I slowly shift it sideways, so I'm playing with almost the side of the pick. It's a little bit softer sound. I'm still able to strum, but I'm able to get a softer sound with it. All right, let's talk about some different types of guitars. Okay, there's a couple of standard different sizes of guitars. Let's talk about acoustic guitars sizes first. There's basically 3 different sizes you're going to see. One of them is called a dreadnought. Think of it as small, medium, and large. Medium is going to be a dreadnought size guitar. This is a dreadnought guitar. Okay, has to do with the size of the body. It's pretty much standard size. You'll also see jumbo. Okay, that would be your big. Okay, slightly larger, slightly thicker in the back as well. Gets a little bit more bass sound. Still tuned the same, so it's not a pitch thing. It's just a little bit of a fuller sound. It is bigger though. Okay. Next one is kind of a concert size guitar, which is a little bit smaller than this. Okay. You'll also see sometimes a cutaway in a guitar, which will be, so this little part of the guitar is cut away so you can actually get up here to the higher frets on a normal acoustic guitar. Now let's talk about different types of acoustic guitars. Okay, here's a steel string guitar. Good for country stuff, good for regular old rhythm playing, sitting around the living room, singing songs with friends. Steel string acoustic. It's got metal strings on it. Normal neck, it's about as wide as electric guitar neck, very similar to that. It's a steel string acoustic. Come in different sizes, great guitar to have, great guitar to play. Okay, here I have a nylon string guitar. You'll notice the body's a little bit smaller. It's got nylon strings. It's going to get a little bit of a sweeter sound. Use it a lot for classical playing, as well as just good, sweet guitar sound. Okay, the neck is wider than a normal steel string acoustic, but it's a very pleasant guitar to have. I love playing my nylon string. Here's another type of steel string acoustic guitar that you'll see quite a bit. This is a 12-string guitar. Now, a normal guitar has 6 strings on it. This one has 12, so each of the strings is basically doubled. Most of them with a string that's an octave above the one that you're playing. So you can play it still like a normal guitar. A G chord, a C chord, D chord. The strings are so close together that you can finger it almost like a regular guitar. It's a little bit wider. Of course, with all those strings, it's a little bit tougher to play, to put all those strings down, but it has a very unique and interesting sound. Very ringy, very melodic sort of sound. With all those strings, it's also louder and physically a little bit bigger too to handle all of those strings. Okay, let's talk about a little bit of equipment that you can use with your acoustic guitar. Now, there's a couple of different types of pickups that folks use with acoustic guitars. Most often, it's a piezo bridge pickup, which it's a little strip of wire that is actually underneath your bridge, or sometimes it's even attached to your bridge, or they're all just one unit. It just picks up the sound there through pressure waves that are going through the top soundboard of your guitar. And usually comes out through your end pin here, and you can plug in the guitar that way. Sometimes you'll even see pickups that are actually electric guitar pickup that they fit inside the acoustic guitar hole. Those aren't quite going to get you as natural a sound as a piezo pickup. The third way that folks pick up guitars, electric or acoustic guitars, is they have just a small condenser mic that's actually on the inside of the guitar. It can get get a very natural sound, get a very big sound. Oftentimes, you have one problem with them. And it's a real common problem that you have with acoustic guitars, feedback. If you're playing in any sort of situation that's loud and there's a lot of sound around, feedback from you or from other instruments and musicians on stage will get inside of your sound hole. The pickup is a bridge pickup here, so it's picking up anything that's vibrating the top of this guitar. So if whatever's vibrating it, no matter whether I'm doing this or whether I'm playing the guitar, that's all being picked up through here. So once feedback starts in there, it just it goes through here, out my guitar, through my amp, back into my guitar, and it just starts going whoop and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the best investments you can make as an acoustic player is a little plastic or rubber device here called a feedback buster, and there's different names for them, and it just fits right in your sound hole, and it stops the sound from going actually inside the instrument. So any outside sounds from going in your instrument. So you can still play your strings, and it's going to be picked up through your bridge pickup right here, but it's not going to be as susceptible to feedback. It's a great device that every acoustic guitar player that's running through a band system or a sound system needs to have. There are also effect units that you can get for acoustic instruments, acoustic instrument processors. You can adjust your EQ, you can add some reverb, maybe some chorus. Very helpful units to try and determine, to try and get a little bit more out of your acoustic playing, especially if you're in a live situation. Okay, your assignment for this session is like this. You need to practice your 16th note strumming on open and with bar chords. Use open chords, use bar chords, but practice that 16th note strumming. Start off slow, slowly increase your speed. Remember those accents, how we built down all the way down to that subdivision where we left those ones out and we were just left with the accented notes. That's where we're going. Good, smooth strumming. Play the strumming exercises in your book. Also, there's plenty of exercises in the Jam Along CDs, and there's extra songs in your book as well. Experiment with making up your own patterns. Don't just do the ones I have here. So I just have a handful of them down there. Make up your own patterns. Your own pattern will give yourself the unique sound that you need. And it doesn't take like a whole bunch of different patterns. Just find a couple that suit your playing style the best, and that will kind of start to define your rhythm playing. Okay? We've got a lot of things to work out at the workshop. I'll see you there. Okay, welcome to the workshop. We're going to talk about strumming. Let's review good strumming technique. Okay? Our wrist is loose, but we have a firm grip on our pick. Okay, well let's just do 16th notes. I fired up my metronome here, and we'll just do 16th notes. No accents, just straight 16th. Get used to that loose wrist on a G chord. 2, ready, go. Slow and even. Remember, we did our accents, like our strumming pattern number 6 down there. Let's practice that one real quick. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, now let's look at strumming exercise number 1. Using that pattern that we just did. Starts off with a G. We'll do that for 4 bars. Ready? Go. C. Back to G. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, now let's get a little bit more complicated with our chords. Okay, look at exercise number 2. We just have 2 bars of E starts it. Let's do that same pattern, slow it down a little bit, and go from there. Ready, go. Another bar. F sharp minor. A. B7. Let's do it again, a little bit faster. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. F sharp minor. A. B7. Okay, now let's look at that third exercise again. Okay, I added some different chords with it. Remember our 2 chords, our minor 11ths? Let's try it. 2, ready, go. B minor 11th, G2, E minor 7th. Now look at that, I just have 2 beats on each of those E minor 7ths and A sus right there. Now, how do I do it? My rhythm is a 4-beat rhythm, so how would I handle that? Well, just simplify it a little bit. I would go maybe down. It doesn't really matter what you do for those 2 beats. You do have to break that rhythm go. You can just do 2 quarter notes if you want to, or a couple of 8ths, or a quarter and an 8th. Doesn't matter. Just whatever you can, as long as you break those 2 up, and when you get back to the measures that have 4 in them, you're back to your strumming pattern again. Okay? Let's try it again one more time. Ready, go. Top. See how that works? For those particular 2 beats, I don't necessarily have to stay with the rhythm. I can do whatever I want to for those 2 beats. There's more songs and more strumming exercises in your materials there. Don't forget the Jam Along CDs give you a lot of good practice on strumming. Relax that wrist, and that will give you a good, fluid strumming techniques. Keep up the good work as you're doing all this strumming stuff. There's a lot of good material that you can cover, and it really kicks up your playing. It's a little tricky to get started with, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get. I'll see you next time.